If you want to get really good at sales, you need to understand how your childhood affects your sales skills, and it will help you to sell more. And I promise you, if you watch this video till the end, you will learn things about sales you've never heard before, because nobody's talking about that. Nobody's drawing the connection between psychotherapy and sales. But if you take a closer look, you will notice that the deeper psychology, even sometimes partly subconsciously, is affecting your health, how much you're exercising, your relationships, your friendships, your business, how much money you make, and, for example, specifically, how you act in sales conversations. So let's take a closer look. Now, if you're convinced about the product or service that you're selling, I am convinced that you have a natural tendency to become a great salesperson. But there are some psychological roadblocks that are holding you back from being in the top 5% in sales, and we need to simply remove those psychological roadblocks. So it's about removing obstacles. And such roadblocks could be, for example, you being afraid to ask certain questions. Maybe you're rather in the end of a sales conversation, in the objection handling phase. The potential client says, oh, I need to think about it. And you're afraid now to dig a little deeper, to ask some questions. Hey, like besides that, what else is there? What are any concerns you're having? Any questions? Let's dig deeper. And then he says or she says, no, I just need to think about it. And you say, oh, there must be something, right? And just digging a little deeper and ask some more questions, you're afraid of that. Or you make it weird about the money. When you drop the price, suddenly maybe it's just something subtle, but the atmosphere is turning a little weird. And of course, the client maybe also even subconsciously turns a little suspicious. And he's right. Or you're generally a people pleaser and the potential client is somehow guiding the conversation, which he maybe likes in the beginning, but in the end he kind of gets the feeling of, wait, I'm guiding here, is that person even capable to help me? And then they also withdraw and pull out. And all those examples, and there are also many more, they're all connected to your childhood, all connected to that. Here's an example that most people struggle with: objection handling. And I worked with a client, let's just call her Laura, and she had exactly that problem. Whenever clients in the end don't really want to make a decision, they're not really ready yet, she's afraid to figure out the actual objections and objecting to those, and basically trying to convince the people and asking the right questions at least to really figure out what is going on. And while digging a little deeper, we noticed that she actually had an interesting relationship with her father back in the days. Because whenever she objected her father, he sort of punished her in some way. Not necessarily physically, but more like maybe he turned a little louder with his voice, or he simply didn't like when she objected him, so he gave her a little less love in a very subconscious way, or she made her feel a little guilty for questioning her father. But basically she noticed whenever I'm objecting, quite often in conversations with my dad, I get punished. I get less love. And when you're a little child, your father and your mother, those are the most important figures. Those are really authority figures. And love is a fundamental need for you. And that's what happened back in the days. And nowadays, whenever she finds herself in a sales conversation, she's making herself small, feeling like she's talking to an authority again, like the huge potential client. And she also is afraid to object. So basically, there is a so-called affect bridge happening, an emotional bridge that we could connect, an emotional feeling, and she's always reactivating her childhood when she's sitting in sales conversations. Now, rationally, this is not happening. She was not even aware of that before we worked together. It's just an emotional thing. Emotionally, it feels like, again, I'm sitting there with an authority, and I learned, this is the important part, I learned back in the days that I should not object. And this was a helpful strategy. This is now really the most important part. Back in the days, receiving love of your parents is the most important thing. And you noticed if I object, I get less love. So let's not object. So let's really be very sensitive to my father, how he's reacting, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and do it to his liking so I receive more love. So that strategy back in the days was great. The only question is, well, she's using that strategy still nowadays in similar situations that feel similar emotionally. And is that strategy to not object still most helpful? Is that even what the client needs because they want to make a decision, right? And you're not serving them by not getting to the root cause and helping them simply to make a decision. So they're kind of like, want to still think about it, but don't really get concrete and are not even capable to say no or yes, whatever it is. Now, what could happen now is the following: a so-called cord removal process. In Germany, we use that word. It's actually, on the one hand, yes, a physical term. I think you guys know this only in a physical way. You know, when you give birth to a child and then you still need to remove that cord in that process. But we also use that word in Germany from an emotional perspective. And basically, there is still sort of a cord removal process that needs to happen between Laura and her father, because she's still very tied to him. She's still seeking the approval. She's still dependent on what he thinks. Maybe just on a subconscious level, but it always gets reactivated if she's, for example, in sales calls. Always this affect bridge that we can draw, same emotion, just like back in the days, needing to not object to get the love from my father, being a bit afraid to object, what is happening then, and being afraid that you won't be loved, basically. And if you really, or if Laura is really capable to remove that cord, also emotionally, to a healthy degree, of course, then she will also be capable to sit in those sales conversations and object and ask questions and dig a little deeper and get into moments that in the past felt uncomfortable. And the goal is even that this is not even feeling uncomfortable. This is just a natural process. It doesn't feel weird. But again, she got reminded, and back in the days it was uncomfortable to object. It was like that. But if she's really removing that emotionally, then she will be much more relaxed in sales conversations. She's getting more to the core, simply helping people to make a decision. Okay, now I want to make a little bit of transition and sharing a little bit how I do those type of sales conversations. And I'm not even considering this to be sales conversations. It's more like a decision making, and it's more about opening up a relationship. How I do that, and if you're, by the way, interested in all that, into noticing that I need to improve my sales conversations and skills, and I notice there is something holding me back, it's something psychological, I haven't really get to the core yet, then I suggest you simply schedule a call. There's a link below the video. You can just sign up for a first free 30-minute conversation, and we just get to know each other. I just want to understand whether I can help you, how I can help you. Also for you, you want to understand who is that guy behind that YouTube video, can he really help me? And also, does that fit financially? And if we both notice, hey, yeah, this might be a good fit, we don't know yet though, then we hop even on a second conversation. And this is a 1-hour strategy call. Get even deeper into your life and come up with a very customized strategy of how to improve your sales conversations, what to do, how to actually dig into the deeper psychology, and how to actually execute on this cord removal process. And then this objection handling phase is coming up, where we basically make a decision together, a well-rounded decision. And we also dig just a little deeper, like what is holding you back, if something is holding you back, what are concerns you have. Maybe those concerns are absolutely right and we notice we should not even work together. Maybe we notice it is. But it will be a relaxed conversation about making a decision. A no is great, a yes is great. A maybe means let's talk a little bit further and let's make a decision together, a well-rounded one, and answer all the questions. If you simply want to experience that, figure out first of all a personalized and customized strategy, and also maybe experience it a little bit on your own. How can this work in a very relaxed way, this objection handling phase, so basically an entire sales process in a very relaxed but assertive way, then schedule a call. And now also, while talking, I made this connection, and I just came up with this quote by Simon Sinek. He once said, if you don't understand people, you don't understand business. And I suggest with people, we start with yourself, to understand yourself to the core, and basically improve and self-actualize as a human being, as a side product, of course, also become more skillful in your business and grow and actually, build a life that you love. All right. I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Share that video with anybody where you feel like it resonates with people who always scratch on the surface, who always have very negative self-talk and be like, damn, I did this again. I shouldn't do this. I should do that, which is more like making it worse They haven't really noticed yet that they actually need to go really deep and take a different approach that is more relaxed, but actually more sustainable and effective. All right, I'll see you around. Have a good day. Bye.